All right, let's go.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Would you mind, like, I know the Toneverk pretty well, but could you give me like just like a tour of like what's going on with this machine? Like,
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So basically, it's a sampler at its core, and the Toneverk basically has three ways of like the core of its sound creation is the machines. So the machines that are available on each track are going to be uh, assignable. So if I go to a pattern, an empty pattern here, on each track, the first machine that loads up is just single player. That's just the default machine. But in order to change the machine that's on that track, you hold function and then source. So right here, you could see the three different machines that are sound creation tools for you to manipulate the samples that are on there. So just so everybody knows, the Toneverk uses samples. That's like the sound source. The machine gives you different ways to control and play that sample. So single player is Toneverk's way of a polyphonic sampler, single player sampler. So if I just, it's in a way, it's kind of like the digits on the source page. The parameters are set up so you have your samples here. You have 8 banks, and within those banks you have 127 slots. So these are the ones that I have here on the no, my bad, right here. And these are ones that are loaded into the project. So it's pulling from, when you load it to the project, you're grabbing it from the SD card and then loading it onto the project's RAM or the device RAM, so that it's there for you to use, kind of like the Digitech. That's like the best way to describe it. So I
it's a
want to
lot
look.
like the Dig Attack here.
Yeah, definitely. But the main difference is, if I load a sound here, or if you want to load a new sound, there's the way that you hold function and yes on that empty slot. And then you could go into your SD card, which is, it's in here. Excuse me. Then I'm going to load in a sound from the factory, just something tonal. Let's just go the pads. Let's just load this. So now it's loaded into slot A10. So if I go back, oh, I'm going to go up. Sounds a little low, obviously. So you can see when I'm pressing the keyboard, the onboard keyboard, you're able to play this thing.
I love it. I love it. I love the display of the lines scrolling across the waveform, and you can play the samples back polyphonically. Is
Yeah.
there any like off the top of your head, because I don't know in my head. Well, there's the crossfade function, which is cool. That's new.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
So the crossfade function comes in play when you start looping the sample. So you can see right here you have your tune.
so smooth. Oh my gosh, I haven't done that yet. That sounded so good.
So yeah, right here on encoder B, you could change the playback mode. You have reverse, obviously, and then reverse loop, and then forward loop, and then just forward. So we'll just do forward loop, and then the crossfade, like I said, it'll come into play when you start setting your loop start point and then your loop end point. So this is the sample start point right here. So this is going to be the start point of when you press that key. If you when you do this loop start, it doesn't affect the start point when you play it, because it's gonna affect when it starts, where it starts looping. So let me change the loop end. So I'll just put it right here. So your start point is gonna be, I'll put it in the beginning, and then the loop start and loop end right here. You can see it's looping right there. But if you listen, there's like a little clip. So in order to smooth that out, that gives you the ability to just kind of make that loop smoother, and there's not audio clicks, because when you select the endpoint and start loop point and loop start and loop end, and it's not at a zero crossing, then you're going to get that click because the audio is, it's not at the zero phase point. So that just gives you more control of where, of your loop point. So if I do, let me just put this one in because this one is just a tone. Let me just, oh.
That loop, the loop crossfade thing would be really nice to be added to the other sampling.
Yes, yes,
in the
yes, it
lineup.
would. I know this. I know this. Let's just do that one. Let's run that one. Cool. And this thing gets really fun when you start changing this point.
No, I need to get weirder. I need to do. I'm playing. I'm just being too basic with it when I play with it sometimes.
So like you could do the single cycle wave thing as well. So if
Does it come with single cycles?
You know what? That's a good question. It would be in here. It would be in single samples. That's sick.
I'll just.
No, but like no, there's
too.
Yeah.
Get those adventure kids.
Yep. Let's grab this one, and that's why I really like it because the single cycle, it just it total. Oh, the endpoint. It's a little harder to to tame and control because the endpoint could be after the start point. So I guess you have to set the start point and the endpoint exactly the same.
I mean, it's like an unnecessary thing anyway.
Yeah.
It is cool that how good it sounds at that resolution.
I'll just go to the beginning.
That's cool.
Yeah, pretty. Oh. And then that sounds pretty tight.
There's something about it. I mean, when I compare the sound from the Toneverk to my other devices made by Elektron, honestly, anything else in my studio, to be fair, like it kind of like with the effects and how wide the sounds are, it kind of just blows everything out of the water.
Yeah.
Kind of incredible how much more fidelity and resolution it appears to have to my ears than any of my other boxes, but in particular my Digitech 2 and my Digatone 2, and they sound off the chain. I was just saying to a buddy the other day, I was using my Digatone 2 just through my speakers instead of my headphones, and it's just such a huge synthesizer, but the Toneverk is so much bigger. It just sounds monstrous,
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, again, the effects really bring out a lot of just different characteristics and different just timbres and just boosting different things. It is 48 kilohertz and 24-bit for the D to A and A to D converters. So I don't know if the Digitone is that. So I mean, I think it is. I can check that, but again, it's kind of one of those things where when you have more of a higher resolution, then you're gonna hear it, especially if you're playing it on in really good headphones or in studio monitors. You're gonna really either hear it or feel it, and it gives you the Digitone is that the same as that 4824. But yeah, again, having samples, that's the other thing is like having samples, it gives you different things to just mess around with, like this already. And then because it samples, but it has the signal flow of a synth. And then I guess we could just load one of these in. We were both saying that this is our favorite effect right here.
My favorite effect. I look forward to. I'm hoping, and I know that I don't know. You guys, Elektron's always really tight-lipped about everything, but I'm really hoping for granular synthesis to be added to this. I think that'll be really competitive.
Yeah,
some
definitely.
other people, but also it sounds like this effect in particular is so close to granular synthesis already that I
Mhm.
can't see why it couldn't just be adjusted a little bit further to like take
Yeah,
those.
I mean, the only thing I could really say is that like they're working on one, the priority is fixing the bugs, right? So when it was released, obviously there's bugs that are fixed. We just put out an OS, and there were some bugs that were fixed, some improvements. So that's kind of their thing, is when it's out in the wild and out in users' hands, they're using it in different ways. They're gonna expose some things that got overlooked, or maybe they wanted to fix it, but it's just wasn't priority. So the priority is making sure that it's stable, and the things that are supposed to work the way that they're supposed to work. The next step, again, like the future of this device, is updates and adding more features, adding more just capabilities to it. So just keep on using it, and keep on uh, stay tuned. I guess that's all I could really say, is just like the OS and the headroom for the processing power is very
Pretty
it's
substantial.
yeah, it's better than our other devices. That's the one thing about this one, is that um it's in the new Electron, like OS, not the OS, but the platform that they create these devices on, and the new form factor. So the only thing that's the same is going to be, the buttons and the OLED, and obviously,
Right.
like,
The workflow.
yeah, exactly, in the workflow. But the platform that it's built on, it's new. So there's more stuff that the devs are able to do. There's more headroom in this device than any of our other devices. So that is something that is
That's
very
really
exciting
cool.
to know, because you know, that's basically, excuse me, that is just uh, more play. Basically, I like to say that the devs have a bigger playground to just do whatever they want, in a way, to add into our devices. So, or into this one in particular.
Yeah. You were going to show me something with this
Yeah,
one?
I mean, I was just this.
I love that effect. Yeah, you use it in the same way as I do. Like, kind of use it as a granular synth.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, like, the cool thing about it is, like, if I load in a different like, just this sound right here, that's just like a square or triangle. Let's see, all the way at the bottom. Yeah, triangle. Um, just very simple, but it's just one oscillator, right?
Mhm.
You can't really detune it or anything. I like using the chrono pitch as like the second oscillator. Let me turn all this stuff down,
But yeah, this is cool. You're showing
and
me
then
that.
just that's your second oscillator, and you can kind of change it, detune more. Let's say you want that second oscillator to be, you don't want it to be as prominent. You can change. You don't want it. Just mix it in a little bit.
That is crazy. I mean, that's cool to think of that as an oscillator. I didn't think
Yeah,
of that.
yeah, exactly. When I started messing around with it, I was like, oh, dude.
You like set it to a fifth or something? It
Yeah,
makes it
exactly. So if I
really
go here,
makes them
if
like
I hold
flying
the
more.
encoder down, you can do it by that. So, oh,
Oh, nice.
amazing. And obviously, this window is just like the delay time of the chrono pitched audio. So I usually keep it
Okay.
at 0, but you can get some cool effects.
There's so much to be explored. This is like that's what I like about this machine, and I look forward to like the continuous update, bug squashing, and new features and all that, and it getting cute, quality of life stuff. But
Yeah,
stuff's all great, and I love that. But what's already here is so much to explore because
yeah,
we've never had a step sequencer that could control effects
for
and
sure.
like
Yeah,
like because you could always program like how much send and how much reverb goes on a digitact or a digatone, whatever syntax, but you could never parameter lock the feedback.
mm,
You know what I mean? And that's like just a completely different sound design headspace to be in to be able to parameter lock the secondary pages of those effects,
yeah.
which is awesome. And then to be able to stack them, I was in one demo I was doing, I had them like stacked. I had like 7 effects stacked at once, and there was like 0 hiccups from the CPU doing that. and which is something I like to do in the Octatrack. But doing it on the Toneverk, it was a completely different experience because there's all new effects, and they sound a lot better than the Octatrack's effects.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
I would say
Octatrack's its
so
own
as well.
thing, but just really cool.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like you said, and then there's LFOs dedicated to the effect. So, you know, on the modulation page, you have 2 voice LFOs you can see here, and the voice is going to be source page, filter page, and amp page. And the mod envelope again is going to be source page, filter page, and amp page. So if we go here, you know, it's just the voice or the sound or the sample parameters. But if you want to affect the filters, you have 2 effects LFOs. So with this one, let me just go. Basically, what I'm doing is putting up the dry wet mix so that that's affecting this right here, which can be kind of cool. You know, you're just changing, it's kind of like you're changing the level of your second oscillator.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I would do the LFO speed, 1 speed. No, not LFO 1. It's going to be, oh, that's voice LFO. That's why. There you go. Effects LFO. Effects LFO speed. I actually like doing, put speed down and then actually change the multiplier. Oh, because I got this. There you go, right there. But if I do it like extremely high,
Great.
And I like doing the whole too. So every time I press the key, it changes. It's gonna change the multiplier.
Pretty cool. Some space to explore there.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like this is kind of, I haven't really used it this way that much. Like actually using it like using the samples as a synth. I kind of just load in either, you know, one of the presets. Oh, can't load that one. Or I'll just like go to multiplayer and kind of just go there. Oh, it's probably still doing that. Cool.
Whoa, that's like,
It sounds tight.
that sounds crazy.
And then yeah, and like again, you have this effect here, and then you also have this effect. 2 effects, slot insert effects, I should say, for each audio track. So you have your 8 audio tracks here, 4 buses that also have 2 effects.
And different effects.
And different effects, yeah. So let me just, I'll do that here. Let me route this to bus 1. Bus 1 here, right? Boom. I could still play this here. And then let's go here. And the ones that are different is you have frequency warper that's not on an audio track, and then you also have warble, which is the same warble that's on analog heat plus effects.
I love the warble.
Yeah, it's great. I like doing that on the master and just kind of using it as a hype, you know, like isolator in a way.
Yeah.
The filter frequency warper
This is the other one that I really like.
Yeah, it's insane. So
like that sound is really, really stereo.
Yeah, it's going crazy. And then
Sounds
if
like
you
it's
want,
like behind my head somehow.
what I really like doing too is this filter spread, because the filter is, you know, you just see one filter and it's controlling it on both channels of that track because it's a stereo track. So in basically you have two filters on each track, but you control it with this one parameter. So if you want to like affect that, you could change the spread and kind of invert it. So if I do this, you're getting it like left and right?
And then you also have your bass width filter.
Yeah, exactly. And have your bass width filter. So if I want to pull down the lows, oh, or just, you know, that's just a kind of more control and shaping the sound where you want it. And then key tracking as well, which is modulating the filter position when you change the key, depending on which key you're on or which pitch you're selecting. To give, you know, a stereo effect, you could actually just modulate the pan, which is kind of cool. But what I like doing is modulating the filter stereo spread.
Yeah, that's wild. That is all over the place.
And then, you know, maybe do a high pass instead. Not do that. And not as fast, not as. And then this is being set to bus 1 again, right? And then this is one thing that I found on here, like a frequency warper. It's insane. I don't really know what it's doing, but what I found is on the spread, it's kind of doing like this tremolo effect. If you just do it at low settings.
That sounds really cool.
And then obviously it's doing something. And then this LFO, you have an LFO already kind of normal to what is it? It's the
I like
the spread.
I've liked this, I've noticed, and it reminded me of model cycles and Syntact of like kind of the headspace that Electron must be in when they're designing their new instruments now. Is this place where it's like, we're going to give you modulation, you'll find in your mod section, but also we're going to give you modulation in the different effects blocks that you're using or different synth pages that you're using.
Yeah.
Vibrato right here, like having speed vibrato setting built in. I don't have to waste an LFO on that process.
Yep,
And I do want vibrato. You know, it sounds awesome on the samples.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's kind of just things that you would want to have available to you, which basically things that you probably would already assign to in your modulation page. So it just gives you a little bit more freedom with this actual modulation. So like it's kind of like with the envelope follower, you just already have this. And then like what was it, this effect here? What was it on this track? Oh no, I had it on this one right here. Cool. Like the speed of the actual phase.
Wild.
It's crazy.
One of the things I kind of like noticed when the Tonever came out, I was also personally in this like deep modular thing. I was like kind of diving back into my modular and I was playing with modular and modular effects, and then Toneverk was released. And I had the Toneverk and I just finished playing with modular, and now I'm having this struggle to want to play with my modular as much because my Toneverk kind of is ticking all the boxes that my modular did. For me, the modular was this synthesizer that had these really great effects pedals basically built into it that, you know, that I could patch up. But now with this routing options and all the different modulation, I feel like if I need to make something like a really interesting sound, I can craft that sound in the Toneverk from basically anything, a microphone plugged in or my phone. You had mentioned sampling over USB-C. Is that something?
Yeah, definitely. That's something that I like. Like, let me pull out this iPad real quick. Oh, 1 sec. Yeah, so if you plug in right here, can you see right here? You have 2 USB-Cs, one for power and another for, you know, connecting to your computer when it's on, putting it into, you know, transferring files to it. And also, if you have a device that supports USB-C, it will connect straight to it. You know, I'll load up just.
You could literally load up the stream and sample us back in.
Exactly, I can. Let's see. Does that work? You can kind of see this right here. I'll go like this.
That's cool. Oh, the Moog.
Yeah, it's just the Model D. So if I go here, you could either just send it MIDI, and then let me make sure this is set. MIDI here. You got MIDI. Yep, into output 2.
Thanks for modding the chat, Circo.
Yep. Let's see what's going on here. Maybe this USB doesn't work. Maybe it's already plugged into this one. MIDI. Nope. Yeah, let me make sure this this USB-C actually works. MIDI Tonever sync. No, it's not on sync. It's on no channel, port config, send out to MIDI. 1 second, I'm gonna grab another USB-C cable. I got another one.
Yeah, I also did learn that USB-C cables, this is something I learned pretty recently, not all of them transfer data?
Yeah, some of them don't transfer power, some of them don't transfer data. It's very weird.
Does either USB, does it matter which USB you're plugged into?
What do you like to send, for you to send MIDI and
yeah, is there like one that's like, this one's definitely for power and this
you know what, that's a good question. I should ask that.
Mhm.
I don't know which one. I mean, I haven't really tried. I usually just plug into this one right here majority of the time. That's very strange. I don't know why it's not sending MIDI out. I wonder if this device MIDI is not working as the way it's supposed to.
It could be the app.
Could be the app. It could be my iPad. Let's see if my phone works. 1 sec.
I honestly never sample over USB-C from like my iPad or phone, even though I know it's a cool process, but I always get frustrated with that experience.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, it was charging my phone. That's funny.
It's charging your phone?
It started charging and then it didn't. Okay, cool. It might be my iPad for some reason. Let me see. I mean, phone. Everybody usually has a phone, so I think everybody has a phone.
Says that the power comes from number 2. So we'd
power
want USB 1 for sampling.
There it is. Okay, cool. So that is this.
Yeah.
See if I can do this.
It was your iPad.
Oh, huh?
Cosmos grief.
Yeah, it was the iPad. For some reason, you can see here, it says Elektron Tonverk. So that's coming from the input here. And if I go into my samples, you could sample from input from USB left to right. But what I'm going to do actually is go to my mix page, and right here in A and B, that's going to be your. Let me change this preset a little bit.
I think that you were clipping from that.
Yeah, this
USB in.
Let me change this down.
I don't know what.
That's weird. I think I might be. I don't know exactly what's going on here.
I don't know if we're actually clipping. It might actually just be the audio in there.
Better. Oh no, it's not.
Sounded better for a second.
Oh shoot, that's not good.
It's like some sort of sample rate thing going on.
Very strange.
He moves so fast on the Toneverk, it's insane.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know what's going on with this, but what I do is I'll either send audio from the Toneverk and just like record into AUM or voice notes. Even you could just do that as well. And that's what I like to do, is just like being able to just like, oh, there we go. Let's run this. There you go.
Oh, sounds good.
Sample rate was at 41.
Oh, there you go. What's the sample rate mismatch?
Cool. So what I'm going to do is actually route this through a track, because I want to have a lot of effects. Because you can route it to your output, AB. You can route it through CD. You can route it through your headphones, like where the audio goes. Or you can route it through a bus, or you could pick a track. So I'm going to pick track 8, and then track 8 here. Cool. Boom. Boom, track 8. Oh wait, where's that? Track 8, cool. And actually, where's my MIDI track at? There you go. Let's just run it through track 3 actually, since I have...
Doing this routing thing that you're doing right now,
Mhm.
I tried it out and then like it's dope. It's also like this does so much. I feel like the muscle memory is something that you're really gonna want to,
Yeah, definitely.
you know, that's what I'm like really, you're gonna be pretty reliant upon you getting really comfortable with workflows.
Let me turn this ARP off too, because I do not want that. Cool.
That sounds great. We're going through some of the effects already?
No, this is actually, let me turn off all these effects on here. Cool. Cool, let's run this, okay, off top. Perfect, let's just do that. And then, now this phone is getting routed through track 3. So I could put effects on this. Oh, let me do like, I don't know. Let's do flanger. Cool, that sounds pretty trippy. And then let's do low pass filter just to like, actually, let's do chorus. Very, very subtle chorus. But I could go through the routing and then send this to bus 1, and bus 1 has these, right?
Now this is the Toneverk experience, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and what's really cool about it is that I've always you know, was an advocate for our devices for, I mean, you know, they aren't the lowest price compared to other machines that are available out there, but you get a lot for what you pay for, because with this one, for example, you have, you get everything that's already in there. It's a sampler, multi-sampler, subtrack. You could use it as a drum machine. You could use it as a sound card as well, because if you plug this in, obviously it's using it as a sound card here. It's hosting my phone's audio, and also a MIDI sequencer and a MIDI keyboard in a way. And also you could use it as an effects machine. So having this, you have this in your pocket, and then you have this on your, just available. There's a lot of different apps and sound creation apps that you could download. So that gives you the ability to not just have what's available here, but the ability to just start exploring more sounds and more, you know, just different routing capabilities. So I'll go to this send, which I just sent this to send, right? Yeah. Cool. And then I like this. This new reverb is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I love this one. I love these graphics too. That's cool sounding. And like this doesn't sound anything like the original sound.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's just like, because you have these new tools, it gives you new ways to create music, which is. And say you like that, right? I'm gonna be like, I'll also send this.
Oh, that's dope sound.
Daisy delay, another delay.
Yeah. Keep giving us these good sounds. Cool.
Let me turn this track down. This also has MIDI ARP.
Yeah,
and
MIDI
you have
ARP.
chord as well. You can start doing.
Wait, MIDI ARP and chord mode, do they work together?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I hadn't thought of that. MIDI chord and MIDI.
Let me turn this thing down a little bit.
That sounds great.
Let me turn this feedback down. This one, turn this, yes, right here. Turn this feedback down a little bit. I don't want it to. Do this. So, right, you like that? I like how that sounds. I'm gonna go to my, wait, what's good? Oh, no, I don't want to record it right now, actually. I'll show you, I mean, obviously you could resample it into your device, but you could like just start creating with this sound here. So if I go here and just, I mean, let me turn this metronome on. Go to something like this. Before. Oh, I'm on track 3. And then let me do oh, I changed this right here. That's why. You just 64-32. And then step edit. I'm on page 2, right? So, I mean, obviously, that's everybody really knows step sequencing. But one thing that I really like about this, I'm going to clear this pattern out, turn off chord mode. And then what I'm going to actually do is it's on a scale. What this guide is, it gives you a guide of what the scale is. Filter, it only shows you what keys are in the scale, and it doesn't allow you to even, if you play the wrong note, it doesn't snap to it. So I like using snap. Where is it? Because whatever key you press, it's gonna snap it to the scale. So
Really good for a live performance, I'd say.
yeah, exactly. So,
which is kind of where I think this box, like, really, like, you know, this is just Matt's opinion right here, but I feel like the Toneverk, where it sits in the Elektron lineup, from my perspective, somebody who plays shows a lot with Elektron gear, is that it sits in a really nice spot for you to get like new sounds, maybe even take these sounds and even sample them sometimes into your Digitact, and then sequence some of it there, because that's where I'm really comfortable. But also just a really cool box for live performance. Like, it's got the, you know, its current mute mode is the global mute mode, so that kind of implies like this is something you might want to improvise on more so than something that you're gonna use the song mode for. Not that you wouldn't, but I think it really has most of its strength lies in making sounds right now.
definitely.
Writing songs for sure, but like something really great to go play a show with, set it to the chord snap mode, get some really cool sounds in there, and use it as something that you improvise on a bit with your existing gear. I feel like it fits in a really nice spot right there, and that's kind of where my head's at with it, is to use it in that way, which is similar to how I would use my modular in conjunction with my other gear. I tweak the sounds of my modular, and I kind of have it set in this like rigid spot where I can't like screw up too much live, but I have a lot of space to play with sound and timbre controls. And this kind of has a lot of that. That's just my headspace, honestly.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's kind of like for me too. Like, with this one, it took me a minute to kind of like wrap my head around it and how I would use it. But that's because every time I would use it, I would start exploring something new, because one, I was learning it, and two, there was just so much that was there. And when you start, you know, if you try to use it like a Digitact, you can do some things like the Digitech, but then you start learning that the Digitech still has its purpose. And same thing with all of our other devices, Octatrack, Digitone, and the Mark IIs. They all have their own purpose. And with this one, it kind of when I finally, like, the light bulb moment, I was like using it like how I use Ableton, or like how I used Native Instruments Machine when I first got it. When I first started, I would just lay down chords and then create a bass line, and I'm like, okay, cool, let me start adding effects on it, and then I'm going to do the drums, and then that's 3 tracks, and then we start adding some layers on top of this, so a lead or whatever it was. Yeah, like that's when I was like, oh damn, this workflow works for me, because on Digitech I'll start sampling stuff, and then I'm like, oh, or I want to use it and start making chords, and I'm like, oh, I can't do that. Where you start, like, doing workarounds. With Digitone, I kind of get that, but it's with synthesis, which is dope. I like that. But there's times where I want to sample it. There's times when I want to use samples. So with this one, it gives me kind of the best of both worlds. Polyphonic sampling, sampler, multi-sampler, and multiple tracks, and also the routing. That's where, for me, I was like, oh damn, this is going to be really, really fun to start exploring and start doing, different routing techniques. That's what I think. It's like, it's designed to give the user the control of how you manipulate your sound. So, that's the way I see it. You're gonna see me using it a way. Obviously, when Matt and EasyBot is using it his way, then you start realizing that it's very open-ended. Even though it's samples and multi-sampling, and you're set with those sound source. The routing capabilities and also the different ways to use it is just it gives you more to explore.
Well, I mean, like, that being said, like, how people use it, how I use it, how this person uses it, like, honestly, I don't even know how to use it quite yet, because I feel like when you are given so much room to explore, like the with the routing and how many effects you can stack, and then the polyphonic multi-sampling, and that all of that, once that, like, this is something that needs to be fleshed out by users, not necessarily by firmware updates and all that. And that is also important, I think, but by users teaching us, all of us teaching each other how to use a machine like this that's offering us the Elektron sequencer plus all of the effects. Because, like, for me, the Octatrack, right, it's been around for over a decade, but it was only a couple of years ago that I started treating the Octatrack the way that I treat the Octatrack, like
Yeah.
a performance mixer. That wasn't, I wasn't hearing about that much, treating it in that fashion. It took a long time to get to a place where it was like, oh, we should maybe treat it in this way, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like, when you give us this many options, it's going to take a while to figure out what to do. And I think that's really cool. It's kind of like when you pick up a new open world game that you're gonna go, like, what do we do here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go explore. This is like No Man's Sky,
Yeah. Exactly.
the Electron box, to me right now. Where I'm like, I need to figure out where to go. How do I play this game right now? I don't know exactly. And that's really intriguing. I've been seeing a lot of people who are like Electron fans getting the Toneverk and being like, I'm not touching my other Electron gear right now because I'm so intrigued by the exploration of the sound effects.
Yeah. Exactly. And then even what, like, the next thing, that's another layer of it, that's kind of like a very big feature that I started using and I was just very amazed, is going to be the multi-sampler. Like, you go here, got your auto sampler here, and like with this, I was tripping out because I would just start sampling this or plug it into my computer and start sampling, like, synths on Ableton, and the fact that it's already there, like, just you just set it and forget it in a way. Let me see, I think I turn this down. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of walk away.
Yeah, kind of just walk away. So right there, it's coming from this device here. And what's even more funner, is you could set it, to
Oh wait,
basically.
you can multi-sample from a bus, or no?
Mm,
Just
yeah,
inputs. Okay.
just inputs. That would be pretty cool, because then you could get the effects on it.
Well, and
Yes,
you
and
still can get the effects on it, right? Like,
mm,
or is it just dry inputs? It is trying.
Yeah, and yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah, because it's not. Let me just put these up really high so we can see. Let's see if it does. So it's getting it here, but that's a good thing to. I could double check that and make sure. I don't want to really do it because it can take a long time. What's really cool, one thing that I was gonna say, it's you could set it as low resolution as you want. Say you want to do a key range from, the whole hardware synth that you have, or you just want to do, like a certain like one octave of it. So you do like 32. I don't. It's very very short, and you can even set these however you want, and you get a very interesting outcome from it, which is really fun. I'm gonna just do 48, and then I want to sample every four. You're gonna get 7 samples, or let's just do every 3. One velocity layer. Cool. Go to the right, and then make this note length. We'll just do it so that it's super short. Because if you go all the way up here, note length, that's gonna be 33 minutes. If you go low, you could set it really short. But let's see, like I was showing people this, just like sample every key, all the velocity layers. It'll take you 91 hours to sample that.
I think we have time.
Yeah, if we would have started it at the beginning of when we were trying to figure this out, maybe yes.
Yeah, we might have been done.
I'll just do like, milliseconds there, and then again, just set this to random so it's cool. 6 samples, even shorter, 1 sample.
So just so people understand this, if anybody's used sample robot or your sampler in your DAW and set it up this way, what's cool about this and what I really liked about it is that it does do the math for you. So say you chose 4 samples, it's going to intelligently place those samples where they're supposed to be on the keyboard so that when a key press is used, it's going to play the sample back at the correct pitch based on that key press. And that's something you would have to manually set up in other samplers. So there's a lot of cool, that's what I liked about the auto sampler. When I loaded it up, I was like, oh, this is great. It's doing like the sync issue, like it's taking care of that.
Yeah.
It's also kind of like trying to guess how long the release was on for your samples too, which I thought was cool, which is another thing like Sample Robot did. Yeah, anyway, I just think it's cool. I love the idea of the auto sampler. This is honestly one of the most intriguing functions of the Toneverk to me because I'm thinking I have like a lot of great polyphonic big synths in my studio. And I'm not going to take my Prophet 5, my coveted Prophet 5. It's not going anywhere. It's going to sit where it sits. It's just a thing in the house at this point, like a piano is. But I can take it and grab my favorite patches off it and load it in the Toneverk and have a, velocity layer. I'd spend half a gig on it because I think it's worth it to have that instrument at my live shows, and have that in the Toneverk and then have all those effects. That's what I think of when I think of the multi-sampler.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's the thing. A lot of I've heard people and artists say they want to use it like on stage because instead of taking, one, a lot of gear, and 2, very expensive gear that is no longer made anymore. Like if you have, I don't know, a CS80 at your house and you want to take that on stage, that's not very practical. But you could use this to get the highest resolution and the best representation of that synth as samples, and also on top of that, use the effects on there, and have the Elektron sequencer to, if you wanted to create sequences on it. But if you want to just use it as like a synth or a multi-sampler synth, then it has not just the ability to play it polyphonically, but different ways to route it and different modulation capabilities. One thing I wanted to show too that's kind of new on this device is going to be, oh yeah, amazing.
Yeah, somebody made the comment in the chat. Charlie says, and I'm bringing up what Charlie says here because I really agree with him. He says, I don't want to prepare everything on a PC. I want to create multi-samples on the box. And I'm the same person as Charlie in that regard because I really feel strongly about, because I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm a DAW-less artist. I don't even really like that, what that means, because I love my DAW.
Yeah.
Uh, but I do really love hardware. I prefer to make music on hardware. And when I go to the computer, I kind of want to do, I do mundane tasks on the computer. I have a hard time feeling the creative spark at the computer compared to when I'm working on my hardware stuff.
Mm.
And I have, like I was mentioning, a sample robot, which is something I have to use on my computer. It's a kind of a complex program to sort out, and it like halfway through the process of getting ready to sample something, you kind of feel like giving up already. Not that the software isn't great, because it does do a good job. I don't want to harp on that, but my point is that the idea of having a box that I can just plug into a synth and hit the MIDI channel and kind of just like test the sound out and see how long the release is on a sound, and then pull that into a box, and then it saves it as what is SFZ file, right? Um, and then I can pull that and I can actually use those samples on my computer if I wanted. I could
Mm.
pull multi samples out. That being said, is it that easy? Do you know? Is it that easy for me to grab a multi-sample? Say I want to get an orchestra or a grand piano and drop it in on here without actually having to multi-sample it.
Uh,
Am I able to do that? And
that's a good question. Like you have the file formats with all of the recordings already. Is that what you're asking?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
all
if
of
I
the.
had it in a folder already and it was an SFZ file, will it play?
I think I'm not gonna confirm that because I haven't even asked that. I mean, I think that's kind of the idea, but again, I'm not. I would have to confirm with our devs if that's capable, if that's even planned. But I'll keep in contact with you about that because that's something I
Okay.
would want to do as well. Because say you have a toy piano, you have a crazy, a guitar that you want to sample, or like a Wurlitzer or a Rhodes that doesn't have a straight output, like it's just an acoustic instrument or electric instrument that outputs audio. That would be really dope, and I think that would put this in another space market and use case that you could use, and gives it like another depth of the sonic capabilities. So yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna
keep
test it out too,
for
actually.
sure.
Maybe I'll test it and then get back to you
Hell yeah, let's do
because
that.
I'm very curious and I don't think it would be too tough for me to do that. But I really
Yeah,
love that idea. And even so, even though like the toy piano or the dark piano or whatever it's called in here, the sample that's in there,
yeah,
that's such a dope sample, and that's like one that I've been going to so much.
yeah. It's really. I mean the one that we have here, right? Two. This one
Ah,
is.
no, it's not that one. That
No,
one's
not this one, but this one kind of has a. Let's see. What is it? You said dark piano? I've used that one before too. Oh wait, what is that? Oh, degraded piano, degrading piano. A lot of different effects. Oh, yeah. I'm being sent to bus one. There you go. And then this one too. Wait, is that one? No, this one.
you're able to switch your camera to the top
Oh
down.
yeah. Sorry about that, y'all. Degraded phase. Oh, that's why I did degraded phase. Degraded piano.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. So to me, like, okay, how did they get that
Yeah,
multi-sample?
that's a good question. I mean, one thing that I done is just using the pianos on Ableton, or like plugin that I
Oh
have,
yeah, that might be the case.
and just doing it over USB. So that's my way of getting acoustic stuff. But again, it's a recording. It's recording a multi-sample instrument already. So if you want to do your own acoustic instrument, that would be really dope. You're not able to do that on the auto sampler with this current OS. So that's kind of the deal breaker. No, it's kind of the thing that it's not able to do. But I do think that request is valid. We actually talked about it here at the office, and something we
Yeah,
really
like
want.
a threshold version of the auto sampler or something.
Yeah, and then like when it tells you,
No.
hey, press this, play. Oh, let me play this. Play key A1, A
Right.
sharp, A B. Yeah, so that would be really really dope.
It's a cool feature. It probably wouldn't get used as much as just the auto sampler that's already built into it. But I do like the idea of being able to get acoustic instruments in here, which you already can with the regular sampler, and it
Yeah,
puts them back polyphonically at
and it plays.
really
Yeah,
high
exactly. That's
sample
kind of
coverage.
the cool thing about it is like, I mean, single sample, zonal. I don't know what they have here.
I kind of want to talk about the drum side of this thing
Oh yeah,
first.
we didn't even talk about that.
So because to me, my experience with using it, I had this idea. I was like, I'm gonna put 4 subtracks on the machines. I'm gonna use 4 subtracks here, and I was like thinking Digitac style, but I was like, instead of having just 4 sounds, I'm gonna have 32 sounds.
Yeah,
And then I'm gonna have 4 synth engines, and they're all polyphonic because there's 64 voices, right? And I quickly realized that 4 subtracks is a lot. It's like, it's honestly, it was too much for me. And I realized that I was getting lost in the 32 sound tracks because each sound has its own track, though it's shared with the super track, right? And the super track lets you lock your
yeah,
effects
yeah.
and kind of a block on those sounds. Plus, it also has the modulation on the super track. To me, it seemed like the subtracks were there as like an addition just to like round out the box and give us some percussion. Um, but also, and because you can sample on the subtracks too, which is cool and easy
Yeah.
to do. Um, right? You just go like that. Or just go into your sampler and save it to a subtrack. Or you just load to the subtrack. That's how it is.
Yeah.
You don't sample directly to a subtrack. So what can you tell me about like the drum side of things? Is this meant to be a drum machine? Because to me, it seems like the drum side of it really is just like, let's also make sure that we have drums and let's add this cool engine idea since we have the 8 voices. But really, the focus to me seems like it is on polyphonic multi-samples and polyphonic sample playback and processing that. And the drums are kind of like just in addition to like round it out as a groove box, but to me, it's still more of a polyphonic synthesizer. Is that
Uh,
fair or?
I mean, I'm not like that's a good point. I don't. I'm. Again, there are a lot of features that are geared towards that. For like you were just saying, just being a polyphonic sampler. But again, like I think the subtracks having it in there, like they did take some time and designed it to be, a big part of.
I mean, they sound amazing. Like, and the samples that are included are really
Yeah.
great.
But I get what you're saying because there's certain things on here that, again, like you would want. There's times where I'm trying to do things that I do on a Digitakt, and because it's a subtrack and it's not an audio track, I kind of I'm not able to do that. So that's where things come into play. Where again, it's a different like mindset and different workflow that you have to adjust to because it is a new machine and a machine device and also a new machine here, source machine. So it is polyphonic, so you could press all of them at the same time. But like here on the filter page, these are subtracks. They're all independent, which is cool, which is really dope because I could like just put this high pass with the crazy just on the kick drum. And then here I want to like, and then obviously like this. But say I want to low pass the whole track, you would kind of just want to go to here, but then you would have to add a low pass filter here. Because it's the audio. When you get past the amp page, that's when you're affecting that audio track. Oh, my bad. Well, actually, the modulation is per subtrack as well, which is really cool. But the effects LFO is for that, just the effects. Does that make sense? Like, if you would think you would expect the filter like on here to affect the whole track, like it does on multiplayer and on single player. But where's my subtrack? Subtrack, the filters are independent and they affect just that subtrack. So it's, you know, I mean, like back to your question about was it designed to be a drum machine? I think that definitely the subtrack was not just a side thing that they wanted to just throw in. There was a lot thought into it, and I really like using it, and I do use it like a drum machine. And if you want to have like a more of a independent control on your drums, you could always you know, load in a single player on a track and just kind of load in a sound like that, if that makes sense. I don't know, just, and then play it like, you know, this track right here.
Yeah.
And this track has like a snare or something.
Is the single player engine pretty much like exactly like the Dig Attack's single player engine, but with the ability to do polyphonic? Does that have all the same controls? I haven't actually compared.
Let's see.
It looks like it is.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it is. It
yeah.
actually has more controls. So as a single player sampler, it actually is more powerful, as the sample engine itself is more powerful because it has the fade.
Mm-hmm.
It also has polyphonic, which is cool. It's cool that it can't. So technically, it could, like, you could have two Toneverks and have one that's like focused on being more of your drum machine, and use the single player plus the subtracks as maybe top lines, and then use a second Toneverk as just like your crazy atmosphere, synthy sounds.
Yep. I mean,
you have a master track.
Yeah.
You've been using that as the compressor for yourself, or like, do you have some technique that you like use the master track for?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll use it. I'll put the compressor on there if I like kind of have a lot of effects going on. And then just depending on the track that I'm working on, sometimes I'll have like I'll set the compressor on like on drums, on subtracks. I like putting this thing on there. Let me turn this thing down a little bit. And then I'll have the compressor on there because I'll have my compression happening right here, if that makes sense. But on the effects page, I like to use it. Sometimes I'll use it just to actually, you know, put effects on this track, which if you go through it, let me see. Let me clear this track out. Let me get this. Just use this. And then let me turn this down. This is just one page. Cool. Oh, let's do this. Let me shape this up. Let's get some stuff happening here. Oh. Okay. Okay, that's just, you know, to show you this very simple pattern. On the effects, like chrono pitch is really dope. I like, and then like
a master.
Yeah. Let's see, put this back. And then I also like the grader. That's really fun to do. And then
like on the octave track.
What was that?
Kind of like the freeze delay.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's not as, or you could get it controlled if you want to, which is really fun. You could do like, you could sequence those things going in. So I want to just do one step. Oh, like this. You can turn this up. Oh. Oh. And then turn it off here. Oh no. What happened?
I was doing the same thing you're doing.
Yeah, and then
My
you could do
first experience with that effect, I was like, oh, I'm gonna start freezing and glitching it at like these perfect intervals, and
yeah. Um, and what's cool too is that you could also like on this track, what is it here? When you do bus two, what do I got going here? I'll just do some weird stuff on this track, and then let's make this a reverb.
you know what I just realized the Toneverk really needs, and you should pass this along if you can to devs, is bypass. Just like the ability to just turn an effect off, but leave
Yeah,
it engaged. Because I was
like
just thinking how cool it would be if I switch over to my shot really quick, and I'll make it so people can hear me really quick. I was just thinking how nice it would be. We'll clear this. To just like quickly like engage this. This is on my master track. You know, or just have this high pass in here. And I can always go to perform, I guess. But if I just wanted to have it be here all the time and then just turn that off, it would be cool to have a bypass, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
whoa, 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 whoa. Why is there an effect? Am I getting a delay? Check. Hello? Hello?
No, so.
That was really weird. I heard myself like, I heard myself my voice delaying. That was really strange. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that kind of, yeah, that would be really sick. Cause yeah, on the master effects, you don't have any like dry wet. Well, I guess it would be here. Oh, you have it right there. On some of the effects, you don't have dry wet. So that would be the way to kind of do it. I mean, I guess, yeah, no. The best way to, especially for the mix track. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how that could be implemented, but it would be cool. I've been using the master as with the compressor on it because I'm just like, I always want to have a compressor at the master level, and I don't need to always have like a wild effect. I mean, warble is actually really nice on the master as well. We'll see how my son. I think you were hearing double, maybe you were hearing B.
That's crazy.
This is playing with that cool glitchy delay effect and warble. Figure out what track I had it on. Oh, here it is on my drum track. And this is the super track here, which selects by going to your holding track and going to track. You can see where I've been freezing some stuff. Freezing the art time.
That's crazy. Oh, you're on that.
I didn't have it showing me. That's too bad. Totally blue.
Yeah. I see. I got what you're saying, but yeah, but the chat probably didn't see it. Well, they didn't see it. What up, everyone? Is there any?
I'm notorious for doing that.
Let's see. Cool. Just looking at the chat, seeing if there's. What up, everybody?
There's definitely more stuff that I want to talk to you about. So a couple of different things that I think are really cool on the Toneverk that hasn't been mentioned enough from what I've seen of people using on like YouTube, because that's where we kind of see like where are people at with Toneverk. We don't really know except for by people sharing video footage of them using the device, right?
Yeah.
Hearing people use it, we don't really know what's going on, but when you see it, you can kind of get the idea. Not only the track perform thing, we already know about track perform, but something that we didn't have on stuff that's in this like newer lineup is the transition mode.
Yeah.
And the transition mode is really cool. And this is directly coming from analog 4, analog
I know.
rip.
Yep.
Even the Octatrack had something similar to it, but nothing as good and convenient as this. What's so cool, and one of my favorites, is temp jump and direct jump, and just being able to jump from one pattern to another pattern and having like alternate versions of the same pattern,
Yep.
being able to jump into them as the sequencer is running. I think that's a really cool idea. And then the other thing that I saw you using already, but hasn't been talked about too much, was like you jumped over to sequence lane.
Yeah.
You wanted to just edit your P-locks and set your
Yeah.
loops. That is so convenient
Yeah.
to keep like your music intact, but
Mm.
then to be able to adjust just the P-locks in your sequence. Like this note can't be changed, but I can
Yeah, exactly.
delete.
And it kind of it's a little, it's like a safety net for you to like, if you don't mess up your sequence that you have the notes in, or your P locks if you want to, add that. And another thing that's really dope too is going to be the transform, that I really like. I mean, the transition is great. Like you said, I like using the direct jump for the same thing. You have different variations of your pattern on different pattern setups, so then you can just jump to that. And it's a performance technique. But like with the what is it, transform? Let me get this. So with that, let me see here on this track, you could go to transform, function transform, and you could unlock. There's different
Yeah, this is
aspects of.
gonna get really useful for live performance too.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna memorize my pattern. So this is kind of like I'm memorizing it, and I could always go back by function recall. You could also do function perform when it's in perform mode. Any changes that you make on the pattern can be. You could change back to your normal pattern by just taking perform mode off. So function perform activated. So now I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna transform this track. I like doing just placement randomize. Those notes on that sequence just got placed in different spots. So this one you can get pretty, weird with it. Let me get out of perform mode.
I like
back.
that.
It's really cool on drums too.
Yep, this is a really good use case for perform mode and the sequence, randomizing the sequencer.
Yep. So let's do this. You can change the velocity. Oh, not subtracks. And it's changing all of the subtracks. It gets pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oops, my bad. Yeah, it gets, you could get weird on it and then just go back. Which is fun. It's really fun to be able to, explore and, change aspects of your track without having to worry about your last pattern.
When I go into the trig mode and I scroll down, look at this. There's definitely some new things in here that I hadn't seen before, right? We have the poly playback, of course, which is new, and then we have poly mono LFO playback, which I think is a really useful feature. The LF, because right now, which I love and is something also unique to this synthesizer. I mean, not to all synthesizers, but unique in the Elektron format, that we have the poly LFOs, or the LFOs phase are resetting on every single note input, and we have 64 voices, so that's a lot of LFOs.
Yep.
And then we also have mono legato and reuse voices. That's the same thing we had in the Digatone. But down here they call it macro, which is pretty cool. And pitch, we have 4 macros. I am noticing that we're not seeing the velocity macro. Assuming that might have something to do with the multi-samples also having velocity layers, and maybe that being just, I don't know, disruptive or something. But I thought that was pretty cool to have the poly mono LFO.
Yeah, for sure. Because then, yeah, just depending on how you want the LFO to affect the sound, you have more control over it.
And then we have the cool filter routing stuff where you can route the filter post or the overdrive
Yeah,
post filter so you can get like really acid sounds, or
yeah,
acidy sounds. And if people didn't know, we have a hidden, it's not hidden, but the amplitude envelope. We can go to an attack hold decay, which is really
yep,
useful for bass lines and drums and stuff like that. You can turn your reset on there. But what I really love is just looking at this mod section and
yeah.
just seeing how I have things set up because it tells you what you're doing and how things work. Mod envelope can go to LFO too. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Mod envelope's a new thing to the Elektron devices in general. That's not something I'd ever seen on any Elektron box. And I was
Okay.
kind of like hoping, and maybe, I don't know, I know that Elektron's so tight-lipped, so even if I ask you if things are coming, you can't really confirm or deny. But I am hoping that we get mod envelope as a mod option in the other Elektron boxes, because that would be so sick. I mean, in the Digatone 2 and Digattack 2, the button is called mod,
Yeah.
which kind of implies that maybe we might have some other options other than LFO.
Mm, yeah, that kind of does make sense.
I'll take that as a maybe. I
Yeah.
like that. Thank you for that one. Uh, but dope. Do you have I mean, before I let you go, I know I've been holding you here
All
hostage,
good.
teaching me Toneverk, showing me Toneverk stuff for over an hour, hour and a half now. Is it possible that you could play us one of your tracks that you have on here?
Yeah, let me see. I was going through my stuff right now. Let me see what's on here. Oh, so this one. Yes, chord changes. I mean, one of the patterns on the factory patterns is mine. That's definitely not this one. Maybe this one right here. Nope, not that one. Turn off metronome. I mean, this one's pretty cool. I like using this one with the right here with the what was it, transition direct jump. Uh, yeah, I'll just play something. Go ahead.
Yeah, please.
That was fun.
Sick, dude.
Thank you. That one I was just trying to mess around with all of the ARPs and stuff. Um, yeah, I needed some bass though. I would try to put that bass in there. But yeah, I hope that people like that. You know, I have fun with this again. I kind of start using it in this way where I'm just kind of being more melodic with samples. I still have ideas that I want to start implementing with it, especially with the outputs and stuff and routing stuff back in. But I'm still kind of just stuck on this workflow because it's working very, very well for me. And I'm having a lot of fun in getting ideas out and saving stuff and all that. So yeah, thanks again for having me and talking with me this and letting me geek out on it, because it's really fun to, again, talk to people and see their input on it and how they're using it. So always a pleasure to be with you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on here and just talking to us about this device and giving us a little bit of insight and your experience with it too. Like you move faster than anyone I've seen on it. Your hands are just like
Yeah, I
you're
mean
flying
that's
on this machine.
I mean, obviously it's new layout. I mean, it's basically the same sequencer and the same signal flow going. So all of that muscle memory that you were talking about and all of that experience that I have with our other devices, it all comes into play. So if anybody was wondering, like, you're going to have to learn a new workflow, in a sense, yes, but all of that knowledge that you have from other Elektron devices will apply to this device, and it gives you more of a gives you a bigger and more vast selection of one sound's routing capability. So kind of just the playground is bigger. That's the best way I could
It's a
explain
new
it.
playground too.
Yeah, it's a new playground, and also
Yeah.
the new tools allow you to build different things. So
It's dope. It's dope. I'm very excited about it. I've been tinkering on it all the time. It's been sitting in front of me on my desk just ever since it came out, and it's
yeah,
hard for me to steer away from it. I jump over to my other Electron boxes too because I'm still kind of like I have my own workflow for that particular grouping of Electron
yeah,
boxes, and I feel like this one has its own thing too. And it's going to be a while before I feel like I'm very experienced with it so that I can like figure out exactly what I want to do with all of these effects and incorporating my modular synths into it and sampling my phone, I guess, is something that I
yeah.
did think about doing and
Yeah, exactly.
showed up
Because
here.
because you know, if you just have the device, you could do so much with it. You're right. Like trying to fit it in your workflow that you have right now, um, it's interesting, and it kind of gives you new ideas, and it allows you to kind of uh, you know, change with how you change and evolve with your workflow and your setup, because it can do so many different features that it has available on there. So it's like a double-edged sword, right? It's like I want to do this, but I want to do this, but this thing could do everything in a way. But that's what's fun about it. That's why I really enjoy using it, because it's just new ideas come out, and this allows me to explore those ideas and get them out and put them into a pattern, into a song, and mess around with them.
I mean, honestly, I would say that Electron could link the Electron sequencer to any idea, any like sound source, and I'm gonna enjoy it because
Yep.
I'm really like I'm in it for the sequencer. The sequencer to me is truly the instrument. And I like the Elektron sequencer.
Yep.
And the idea that it's now paired with multi-samples and lots of effects is just awesome to me. So like I honestly you can't really go wrong with it in my opinion, just because of that. So if you're already familiar with the Electron boxes, I feel like it's so easy for me to jump into this device, despite it having some new language, it having some new syntax and how you're going to express your natural way of writing a pattern is going to be a little bit different. 256 steps
Yeah.
instead of 128. And 128 was already brand new to us this year, and we doubled it again in the same year. So it's like there's been a lot of new expansion into the Electron universe, and that's still something that I'm wrangling with. 256 steps and navigating those pages. I was super happy to see the
Yeah.
update that came out that fixed the page jump on there.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like it's really easy to navigate those pages. And that was something that was really important. And now you can do that. And I'm excited to see what happens in the coming weeks and months with what happens with the Toneverk, um, because it is really cool and it just sounds, it's the biggest sound from Electron that I've heard yet. So I love it, and I'm super grateful that you took the time to spend an hour and a half with me,
Yeah.
Mario. Always a pleasure to hang out with you. You're the
Same.
best.
Yeah. And sorry, chat. We had a delay, but we got it working, and we got through it, and had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with you, with going through the Toneverk, and again, just bouncing off ideas and as we learn it, teach each other. So thank you again for having me. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you too.
All right.
Everybody, I'm gonna let Mario go. Thank you for hanging out. My name is Matthew, aka EasyBot. If you want to support this channel, you can visit patreon.com/EasyBot, or you can just leave a nice comment and a like on this video. It goes a long way. If you want to get yourself a Toneverk, there's a billion stores for you to visit and pick up a Toneverk and have fun and sample your instruments. And I'll catch y'all next time. Thanks again, Mario.